So welcome to my very thoughtful world. Thank you so much for joining me. Listen, you guys know that it is my mission to bring as many positive, outstanding women into your presence so that you can see that being an entrepreneur is definitely something you can do too. So my goal is to inspire as many women as possible to live their dreams. And so tonight I am excited to bring on Dr. LaShonda Lucas. Thank you for being a guest. Tell everyone who you are and tell them about yourself.
Thank you so much for having me. I am Dr. LaShonda Lucas. I am a speaker, researcher, and therapist. My research is on Black women and particularly self-worth, our worth and value. So that's what I do. I do a lot of things in those realms, but I think what I'm most proud of is that I'm a mother of two boys. I'm a boy mom, and I am a wife. And so those two roles kind of take up majority of my time, and everything else just fits into there, right?
Yeah, I totally understand that. And you listen, and that is really why I wanted to have you on and other women like you, because I know that life can be challenging, particularly as an entrepreneur, as a mom, and as a wife, but somehow we manage to get it done. So tell the audience, how do you manage to keep that business in perspective and keep your family organized? Talk about that a little bit.
I think that's a great question for women entrepreneurs to talk about. Because I think society tells us that because we are a mom, because we are a wife, that we shouldn't have competing priorities. But the reality is that God has given us a purpose, right? Um, for His kingdom. And so, yes, that includes being a mom and a wife, but it also includes whatever other gifts and talents that He's giving you, whatever other assignments He's giving you. I believe that my assignment is to encourage and empower other women. And so, because it is a part of who I am, because it aligns with my story and my background, my family, supports that. And so, I am the only woman in my house. Even my dog is a boy, right? So, this mission of empowering women can seem to just kind of fall flat in here. But what my boys do, which is really, really good, is that they understand what it means to have a woman in their life who is healthy, who
Yeah.
is fulfilled,
Yeah.
right? Because now I can bring a sense of peace in my home. So I say all of that to say they support me because it also benefits them, right? That
Absolutely.
I'm
I love
filled
it.
up this way.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Tell me about that. You said that you were doing this because of, the woman you used to be and how you kind of grown into that. Who was that woman and how did you get into this space of dealing with Black women and their worth? I can talk to you about that all day, but go ahead. Tell me about that.
Oh my God. So when you say, tell me about that woman, I love how you phrase that question because it is me. It
Yes.
is who I am. It's a part of me. It's always going to be a part of me, but I am so different than the woman I used to be.
Mm.
And it took and it takes a lot of work, intentional work, what I call heart work. So
Mm.
not hard work, but heart work, you
Yeah.
know? But that little girl was little LaShonda was raised in Newport News, Virginia, between Newport News and Rocky Mount,
Okay.
North Carolina. And that little girl just witnessed a lot of things from substance use, domestic violence, community violence, poverty. She witnessed a lot. Okay, she experienced a lot in her life. And so we all know, or that a lot of us know, and a lot of things I talk about in my research is kind of like socialization or how Black women are socialized,
Mm.
right? And we begin to determine our worth by the things we experience, our worth and our value.
Say that again.
Yeah, yeah. We determine our worth and our value by the things we experience.
Okay.
That has been inflicted upon Black women since forever, especially through the media and, just so many different things. And so I grew up with very low self-worth. I placed little to no value on my voice, on my own voice,
Yeah.
um, and my own safety and my own interest. I didn't know who God called me to be. I didn't know. Um, And so when I did the heart work, which, we'll talk about, I have some things, some processes that I did for myself that now I help other women through this same process, right? But once I did the hard work and I really found out who I was, who God says I was, say
Mm.
that I am, and understood my giftings and understood my talents and understood even my own strength, I began to see that I am worthy, that I am worth it, right? There's value in who I am and what God gave me. And so yeah, this woman today looks so different than the woman I was before. I mean, very different.
Wow.
And not just aesthetically, but you know that the thing we have from the inside out, the
Yeah.
confidence and the self-assuredness,
Yeah.
very different.
Yeah. Do you mind me asking what was your turning point? Because I'm much like you. I came into this work like literally just a couple of months ago. I got a tattoo that says I am worthy. I don't know if you can see it because it's a pretty
Yay.
place on my arm, but it is my everyday reminder because I also struggle with that worth issue thing, right? And it's just beautiful every day when if I'm struggling, I happen to look down on my arm, I'm like, yeah, I am worthy. What was your turnaround? How did you go from feeling like, the young lady who you were shaped by all of your experiences and you thought that was your identity to recognizing that, because, many of us are Christian for years.
Yeah.
But still that something doesn't happen where we begin to do the hard work. Like I struggle, honestly, my clients that have the most breakthroughs are those who don't believe in God. And I hate that because I find that my Christian clients are waiting for God to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell me about, like, for you, what happened, if you don't mind sharing, that made you say, I'm going to do the hard work?
Oh my gosh. So I got baptized when I was 23 years old.
Mm.
And before that, I knew who God was, but I didn't know God. I had no relationship with God. I knew who he was. We all know. We all, I'm praying when I need something. You know
Right.
what I mean? I'm like, get me out of this, Jesus.
That's
Get me out of this.
bargain
And
with God. I won't do it again. I'm making bargains with God. Yeah.
that's how I was. So, we all know who he is, but we don't have that relationship. I could tell you the basic things from the Bible, but I didn't know, a lot. And so I told this story for the first time on stage at Jamila's Sisters Let's Give Them Something to Talk About,
Okay.
the 2021 conference.
Okay.
And I did, my presentation was called Unpack Your S.H.I.T. Your shame, your hurts, your insecurities, and your thoughts.
That's beautiful.
And unpacking them. And so I told this story, and I told the story about one Thanksgiving morning when my world was rocked and turned upside down. And it was a very hard moment for me. And I found myself that morning crying on my bathroom floor. So, Thanksgiving morning, we're all preparing to go eat wherever we're going to go eat, right?
Okay.
And, I think we usually eat around, 1 o'clock. So we're preparing food. And I'm home. I received some information and experienced something, and I'm crying in the middle of my bathroom floor. And I don't know what the next minute is going to look like, let alone the next day, the next week. I'm really at a loss for everything, and nothing in my world makes sense right now. So I'm crying on my bathroom floor, and there was a knowing and understanding that I had to get up and be presentable for Thanksgiving dinner. Right?
Yes.
There was a sense of, yes, you're going through this, but you got to be there for Thanksgiving dinner. You got to show up, you got to smile, and you bring the food that you say you're going to bring, right? And you do that. And so, listen, girl, I did. I got up off the floor and I fixed my makeup and I combed my hair. At the time, I didn't have locks, so I combed my hair. And I went to Thanksgiving dinner, and I'm sitting around this table, and I'm looking at people who could care less about what I went through. I'm looking at people who could care less about these people that I was sitting around would have told me, stop crying, would have told me, suck it up, you're ruining my time on Thanksgiving. So and this is the thing about when we don't know our worth and our value. We will be in circles with people who don't give two about us. Okay?
Yeah.
And we will cling to these people, and we will dishonor ourselves for those people.
Yes.
And I had done that for years. I mean, I didn't know my own value. I wanted you to want me more than I wanted myself. You know, I wanted you to want me, period. I wanted you to want to be my friend. I wanted you to love and accept me. And I did that while dishonoring myself for you to want me, right? For you to want to be my friend. So I'm sitting around this table and I'm looking at these people who I knew didn't care about me. And just as clear as that understanding was at like 10 o'clock that morning, crying on my bathroom floor, that I needed to be here to present for these people, because if I didn't show up, they would have been upset with me. For Thanksgiving, they didn't care what I went through, right? As much as I knew that, as clear as that understanding was, I had an equally clear understanding that, girl, you are dishonoring yourself, and enough is enough, because your world is rocked right now and you don't know what you're going to do right now. And you have shown up for all these people because that's what they expected you to do. And if you didn't, they would have been upset with you. And you didn't want to make them upset so much that you would dishonor yourself. And so at that point, I knew that I was tripping. At that point, I knew, okay, girl, this ain't it. You got to do something else, because you are literally dishonoring yourself. And I was right. I was right. So many things happened after that situation, and with me sharing what took place with family, sharing what took place. Oh, I was absolutely right. They didn't care what I went through. Okay. So that all of that situation, this was in 2017, Thanksgiving of 2017. That situation taught me, that was a turning point for me, because it was so clear that I didn't have the people in my life. I didn't have the things I wanted in life. I wasn't the person I wanted to be. And all of that was because I didn't know my worth and value. And at that moment, I went home that day at Thanksgiving. I left the Thanksgiving table, went home, and I began journaling. And that's when Unpack Your S.H.I.T was created.
Wow.
Because I said, I got some S.H.I.T with me that I need to get, because I'm not going to blame nobody else at this point. I'm blaming myself, because there's something that I have done to make you think that you could treat me this way. There's something that I have done. There's some way that I've presented myself, or something that I've made myself believe that will have me showing up for you and not showing up for myself. So let me deal with me. So that's when that was birthed, 2017, Thanksgiving Day. Unpack Your S.H.I.T.
Yeah. Well, we are so thankful that you birthed that. Because you know the thing about this work, you can't take someone to a level you haven't gone to.
No.
Well, first of all, I love your acronym, because it's one of my favorite words, even though I've been working very hard on not cursing, but I'm like, oh, I like that. I got a new meaning for that. But when you came out on the other side of that, is that when you started your business, or were you already in your business?
I was already a therapist.
Okay.
And so, but I'm doing, and this is going to lead me to something else, because I'm already a therapist and I'm doing work, I'm doing very general therapeutic practices, the things we learn in our textbook in school, but they didn't have Unpack Your S.H.I.T in a textbook.
Right.
That spoke to me, because it's dirty, it's ugly. Nobody want to talk about it, and nobody want to really talk about that they experience it, just like S.H.I.T.
That's right.
We all pretend we don't do it. We don't have it, right? Somehow I'm too much of a lady
Yes.
The reality is we all do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not pretty, but you have to deal with it if you want to be healthy. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that wasn't in a textbook. CBT didn't make sense like that to me. Cognitive behavioral therapy didn't make sense like that to me.
Okay. You said
Right?
I did.
Okay. DBT didn't make sense like that to me. Now EMDR, that's good. I like EMDR, but there's so many, forms of therapy and therapeutic approaches that we use that didn't make sense for me, a Black girl who grew up in the inner city, experiencing poverty, witnessing substance use, witnessing domestic violence. What made sense to me was Unpack Your S.H.I.T.
Right.
So from that point, I started Beauty Marks Counseling and Consultation. And so Beauty Marks is based in scripture, Isaiah 61, where it talks about that God gives us a crown of beauty for ashes. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that the things we go through, as ugly as they may be, as difficult as they may be, they don't give us scars and they don't give us wounds. They give us beauty marks.
Oh, I love that.
Things that show and demonstrate the beauty in the human experience, that we bend but we don't break.
Yes.
We are resilient. We can come back better. And because when I tell you, the person I was then has nothing on the woman that I am today.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? This is a whole beauty mark because that girl
Yeah.
gave herself away to people, places, and things that did not deserve her.
Mm.
And this woman today has turned down two prestigious organizations who wanted to hire me because they couldn't afford me.
I love
So she's very different, because she would have took anything you gave her at one point, right?
it.
Very different. So that's when Beauty Marks was founded. After that, my outpatient therapy. So I do counseling with women on self-worth, self-esteem, and self-discovery work. I also speak. I'm a motivational speaker, so I travel and do that. And then I do some professional development with different organizations around DEI and psychological safety, and just creating healthy work cultures. So
Yeah.
I do some of that work too. But now I'm doing the Black Mental Health Conference.
So tell us about the Black Mental Health Conference and where is that going to be held? When and all those good things.
Oh yeah, so it is going to be, it's going to be in Black History Month.
Okay. I like that.
February 10th, 2024. And so the Black Mental Health Conference is for the mental health professional that is like me, right? The one who says, you know what? I can do CBT, but that doesn't speak to me, right? And it doesn't speak to my clients. I can do mindfulness and motivational interview, and I can do all those things, and they help, they assist, but my clients need a language and a process and a modality that speaks to them,
Yes.
right? And so I decided, let's do this Black Mental Health Conference where we can get Black mental health professionals around the table, and we can learn and bring to the forefront different culturally responsive modalities. So modalities that are tried and true for Black people, that speak to our unique experience in this country, right? So that's what we're going to do. February 10th, 2024. My website is drlashondalucas.com. And on that website, you can go to the BMH conference, the Black Mental Health Conference, and you can purchase your tickets, because right now the early bird ticket is available, and they'll be available through mid-October. So
Yeah.
you want to go ahead and get your ticket and be in the building. We are only hosting 120 mental health professionals this year. So I know that sounds like a big number. However, conferences can usually have about 400 people or so, especially for a professional conference like this.
Absolutely.
And so we are only going to have 120 people. We want this to start. We want it to kind of be intimate. And here's the really cool thing that we're doing.
Okay.
We don't want any code switching, right? No
Oh,
code switching.
I
We
love
all
it.
professional. Everybody got letters behind their name, or they got whatever they got. They doing their thing. We're proud of everybody, right? So
Yeah.
when you come to this conference, we don't. If you choose to dress up in a suit and tie, if that's how you want to represent yourself, great, cool. Otherwise, what we're encouraging people to do is come in their collegiate attire or
Mm,
their Greek attire,
I love it. I love it.
right?
Yeah.
And or if you got a Black owned business, come in that. Come in whatever makes you feel comfortable, because we're here to learn, not to impress anybody.
I love it. I love it. So now
Yeah.
it's only for mental health professionals? Like, what if a lady
So
heard about it and say, I want to be in that room? Can they come?
absolutely. That is a great question. So this is for mental health professionals, anyone who works in behavioral health, mental health, anything like that. Now, it's also for caretakers. So if you are a foster parent or you have a child or someone who suffers with mental health, or a family member who suffers with mental health difficulties or challenges, then you can come. But then also, if you just care about Black mental health, if you just want to learn more and you want to be in that space, come.
I love it. I love it. Where exactly are you hosting it? Because we know that it's going to be February 10th, but where are you going to have it?
In Raleigh. So it's going to be at the Embassy Suites in Raleigh near the RDU airport.
Love
And it's going to be amazing. Now, when I created the conference, I said, Black people love to eat.
it.
So, we'll go to somebody's baby shower or something and we'll be like, they didn't have no food. So we have food. We feed you 3 meals. You're going to get breakfast. You're going to get a plated lunch. And then we have the networking reception at the end of the night where there's a buffet. But there's a DJ. We're going to do karaoke. And it is a networking reception at the end of the conference. And so, music and food to have
Yeah.
a good time every
Yeah.
time.
Well, I absolutely love this. And I'm going to make sure that, I do all I can to spread the word, because for me, once I learned so I have my degree in coaching, well, my certificate in coaching, and my degree in pastoral counseling. And when I began to learn, so what's so funny to me is I remember when I first learned that my life was a hot mess because of the way I was thinking. I was mad for about 2 weeks. I said, you need to tell me.
Yeah.
It was for me to think something differently. And that was really like the pop off for me. Like, wait a minute. Like, my thoughts are creating my decisions, and my decisions are creating my destiny.
Yes.
Wait 1 minute. And I just wanted to like tell everybody that. No, it's your like literally I would run around like, it's your thinking, it's your thinking, it's your thinking. And they're just like, what is Kanisha talking about? Right. But the ones who would come on board, they'd be like, oh my God, it's my thinking. I'm like, I told you.
Yeah.
So I love that you're doing this. I pray that our community run and get their tickets, and that your room is full. And I'm going to do all I can to push this information out. There will be links all over this video, so you guys can go right to that website and get your ticket, because there is nothing more important than your mind.
Yes.
I cannot say that enough. I tell people all the time, I don't care what your problem is. You might think you don't have enough money. You might think you're struggling in your relationships. You might think if I could just lose this weight. It is the way you're thinking. And once you learn to shift that, and I always call it like, are you moving from your hurt self or from your healed self? And just breaking it down where you are aware of, am I making this choice from my brokenness?
Oh.
Or I'm making this choice from my healing. And so that is literally how I help my clients. Just now, my client, he started having a bing bing moment, and he goes, so you're telling me I need to slow down on my decisions? I was like, absolutely. I said, but if you can't slow down, here's the question I want to offer you. You ask yourself, am I choosing for my insecurities? In this moment, do I feel insecure or do I feel peace? And as long as you make your choices from peace, you will never make the wrong choice. Even if the outcome isn't what you want, you will be okay with the outcome. And he got that. He was like, I can do that. I can do that.
That's so good.
Because I'm the type of person, it has to be simple.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to make it difficult, but we do have to wake it up to, what do I already think and believe? Like you said, what is the shame? Right? What is the hurt? What are my insecurities? We have to know those things. And so I appreciate the work you're doing. I am all here for it. And just the last thing, I always like to ask my guests, what book would you recommend for women to read that either be transforming them in their personal life or in their professional life?
So I love that question too. Let me tell you what I'm reading right now, because I finished my PhD in 2022. So I have a lot of research journals in my head right now. And I'm not going to recommend those for people because, one, you might not be able to access them. You got to be on the databases to get them. Let me tell you what I'm reading right now. Who is a celebrity author, actress that I would love to meet and spend time talking to. I'm reading Jennifer Lewis's Walking in My Joy in These Streets.
Okay.
Let me tell you, this woman is fearless. She is fearless. And she's just talking about her journey and just different relationships and different things that has happened in her life. But when you think about all that she has accomplished, and now she's been diagnosed with bipolar disorder as well, okay? And so when you think about all that she has accomplished and how transparent and authentic she is in telling her story and talking about her challenges with mental health and just her challenges as a Black woman, but also her grandiosity, right? Because she's talking mess in this book, you know? I just love that. I love that she's so complex. And so as a therapist, as someone who's interested in human behavior, this book is so fascinating to me because she's so complex and dynamic. And this quote I read in my PhD program by Patricia Williams.
Okay.
And this is why I'm doing everything I'm doing for the rest of my life. She said, to be Black is to show up to the table needing two chairs, one for you and one for your Blackness. And so basically this quote is saying that the tables that are already here are not designed to carry our complexity and all that we are. And you're going to have to shed something and put it to the side at this, when you come up to these tables, because they can't handle all of you.
Right.
And so I've decided that, you know what? I may not be, some people say create your own table.
That's right.
Think some people can do that. I think a lot of people can do that. I know I'm going to do that, to some degree. But if I can't create my own table, I'm going to pull up to the ones that have a chair big enough for all of me. And if they don't, that's okay. That might not be a table that I want to sit. Now, I always tell, when I say that, I'm not saying don't break glass ceilings. I'm not saying don't be the voice when there is no voice. Right. I'm just saying if you spend all of your time trying to do that, think about what's happening to your soul, right? Yeah. So create the table for yourself, break barriers at tables where there is no voice there that represents yours, but also look for the table, the people, the places and things that can celebrate you and motivate you and inspire you, and where you have a sense of belonging, not just inclusion. That's what I want to tell women, and Black women and anybody really. You don't have to always settle for less. Yes. You don't have to. There are places that want you. And I talk about this when I speak about raise your price. You are in demand. That's right. There's only one you that can do what you do. Yeah. Find those people who are interested in you. Yes. Yes.
Listen, I could talk to you all night. You know that, right? But I want you guys to really get all the nuggets that Dr. LaShonda just shared with us. Understand your worth. If you are the woman who's watching this and you have visions and dreams inside of you, you know that God has already shown you your purpose, but the only thing that's stopping you is fear. And fear wraps itself. I always say this, fear has a way of masquerading. It will look like I don't have time. I'm too old. It's too late for me. Those are the lies of the devil. If you need help walking through this process, you reach out to Dr. LaShonda. If you want to work with me as a coach, feel free to reach out to me. But whatever you do, there used to be a commercial that says, whatever you do, get help somewhere. We want you to get help because we want you to bring all your greatness to this earth while you're here, because there's someone out there that needs you. And I want to say to you, thank you so much for saying yes. Thank you for being a part of my podcast. And thank you for bringing the Black Mental Health Conference to North Carolina. We can't wait.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This was fun. Thank you.
Awesome.